And we are back for another thrilling week of the Doing All Right podcast here at Crown Global Media. I'm here on my side at the Iron Throne. Brian's over there at the mothership. What's good with you, Mr. Broaddus?
All good. It's strange to have a Sunday off.
Yes, sir.
And that's to me where you don't get used to that. You kind of get into, and we're going to start to get into a rhythm of the season where you have that where you're constantly, that okay.
Yeah. Got to miss these games.
Got to mix it. Got to get going here. But yeah, having that Thursday game would have been great when you win the Thursday game, because then you have those 3 days to kind of get everything. But it's nice to see the National Football League get going again.
Brian, you want to know the one thing that bothered the hell out of me watching these games last weekend, just last night, Brian?
What's that?
Is that when teams play the Cowboys,
Yeah,
they turn into superheroes, man. the Lions will roll out 20 unstoppable plays back to back to back, and they'll just beat the hell out the Cowboys. When they play Green Bay week 1, they just act like they can't get nothing going. Bryan Broaddus, boys, Sewell just can't block Micah Parsons. But when the Lions play the Cowboys, Micah gets blocked all day by one person, Bryan Broaddus. It was just upset watching these games there, Brian. Green Bay looks fantastic with our guy. We ain't got to talk about our guy, but it is what it is. But it was cool to sit back and watch him. The New York Giants look like food, though, by the way, Bryan Broaddus. They went to add a bunch of help. Brian Burns, Thibodeau's working with the guys, Carter that they drafted early.
Right.
So I did get a chance to watch them versus the Washington Football Wizards, and I feel really good about that matchup moving forward this Sunday. Yeah,
the thing with the Giants and stuff, how many years the Giants chasing offensive line problems here?
Yeah.
It's just constant. If you look at really what the Commanders were able to do in that game, our old buddy Dorrance Armstrong, he had a lot of pressures in that game. He had 9 of them, I believe,
That's crazy.
in that game. And so and then then Russell Wilson. To me, I'm just going to tell you this, and I'm jumping out here throwing it out there. I think Jackson Dart starts this week. I do. I just. To me, if you're Brian Daboll and you're the general manager there and you're trying to win games, you don't have a lot of time to get into week 5 and week 6 and then think about, oh wow, well, here let's play the young guy and see what happens, and all of a sudden he starts to save your season.
Yeah.
I think they're at that point now where and the fact that Daboll came out afterwards and said we're not committed to, we need to get back and see where we're at.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if they start Jackson Dart there.
Brian, is this Daboll's last chance to kind of figure something out? So if you're a last chance coach like that, Brian, do you go with the older guy that has experience that can maybe win you a game, or do you go with the young guy for the future, but your ass may not be here for the rise of Jackson Dart, Brian?
Yeah, what you have to do, Voch, in my opinion, is they drafted the young guy for a reason. They probably didn't when they signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston and those guys, they probably weren't thinking about drafting Jackson Dart. They just, in their mind, they're thinking, okay, how are we going to, well, we like him, maybe, this, that. They had that super high pick. They take Carter, and now they're waiting in the board. And, so to me, this is where all of a sudden you're looking at, oh, wow, we have a chance. We got Jackson Dart here. But you have to prove to the Mara family and the Tisch family that owns the team, they gave you another year. But you go in there and win with Jackson Dart at quarterback, now it's like, oh, okay, this is the plan. This is what but you go out there and lose games with Russell Wilson, and it does you no good. Now, you could say, well, wait a minute, Brian, are we getting Jackson Dart ready for another coach? Yeah, very well could happen. But to me, I would rather go down swinging with a guy that maybe will give me the best chance to win. And people will probably say, well, wait, Jameis Winston gives you the best chance to win. I don't know about that, Voch. I don't know. I would play the young guy. I would play the young quarterback and show the front office, or show ownership, that we have something to build on here in the future.
I'm looking down at my notepad here, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
I'm looking down at my notepad. I was thinking about some things that we could talk about today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Boy, I had some observations from this last Eagles game that the Cowboys played.
Sure.
I got a little more time to watch the film.
Yeah.
I ain't saying I got a game for you, Bryan Broaddus.
Uh-huh.
But I got a game for you and everybody that's watching right now.
Okay.
Brian.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a group, a unit, position group.
Uh-huh.
I want to see a change here,
Okay.
or I'm going to wait one more week, Brian. I'm going to give you a group, and you analyze that group and what they did last week versus the Eagles. And I want you to say, Voch, I would change this, or just give me one more week to keep on breaking it down, Voch. Bryan Broaddus. The offensive line.
Yeah.
I was watching my offensive line, Broaddus.
Mm-hmm.
Solid. Mm-hmm. Solid. Cool. I remember you talking to me, and you weren't very pleased with Terrence Steele. Terrence Steele was clearly the worst out of the bunch.
Sure.
It is what it is.
Of the 5, he was the one that struggled the most, in my opinion.
Sure. You wouldn't change anything at right tackle, would you, Brian? Or you want to see some more? Like, does Terrence Steele's play alarm you to where you would change it? Maybe go for the rookie, maybe go for Hakeem Adeniji or something like that? Or would you just roll with what you got right now? What would you do?
I think I would wait another week on this. And I'd say wait another week because you got me curious on something here, Raj. You got me curious. I wonder if what I saw from Nate Thomas could translate. And if you remember, when we were in the OTAs and minicamp phases, when the media got to watch practice, Nate Thomas was this backup right tackle.
Right-sided player, yes, sir.
And I wonder if, in fact, could you make a switch there? And could you, and you brought this up during training camp, and why they wouldn't go with Awesome Richards. You said, Broaddus, it's the power. You're putting a more powerful guy in there at left tackle. That's why they're going with the Nate Thomas here. And I'm sitting there going, okay, let's see it then. Well, it showed up. He did play with power. You know, for a young guy that size, athletic ability over there, I don't think they would do anything with Steele. Me personally, I don't think they would. But what Nate Thomas showed me in training camp makes it intriguing to where I would consider it.
Now, Terrence Steele did have the best block of the game last week on the 50-yard Miles Sanders run. He
From the
came
backside,
over the top,
yeah,
hit the safety there. Miles was going. But I think for the most part, he did kind of struggle a little bit. Right?
Yes.
Now, Thibodeau and Burns and Carter are on the way next week.
Right.
That's a pretty good group of edges that we're going to have to deal with, Brian. So I just kind of want to see where Terrence is at versus those guys. But it's like I felt comfortable with Guyton. I felt comfortable about your 3 guys on the interior. Your right tackle, I want to see him kind of get a little better next week or maybe even the week after that. But week 4, I just want to look at all our options. But let me run something else by you there, Brian.
But does Nate Thomas become an option for you then at right tackle?
I think you have a lot of options.
Or you go with Adeniji?
Adeniji's the right-sided player that we've been seeing.
Sure.
Go at right tackle. Nate Thomas strikes me more as what the future would look like. Cornelius is more so what the future would look like.
Sure.
If anything goes bad with Terrence, I would imagine that they'll just play the best guy.
Yeah.
To just see.
They'd probably go with the veteran guy.
Hakeem Adeniji.
I think they would.
But I never once considered moving Nate to the right side. That's where he was.
Right.
He just popped up at left tackle one day, and it was just, all right, y'all, it's decided.
Yeah.
He's just the backup left tackle guy now. It was strange to me too, Brian, but you on to something. Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit more.
To me, if you want to move on, if you want to move on from Steele, if you feel like that Guyton is that guy at left tackle, that him working with Duke, him working with these offensive line coaches, him getting, him improving his techniques and things like that. If you feel like that's your left tackle, by all means, find a spot to get Nate. Nate Thomas was good enough to start for you at left tackle. I think he's good enough for you to potentially start at right tackle. And if you feel like that maybe after this season you want to move on from Steele, I would start to find ways to maybe integrate him into maybe a series. And this is what Shotty told us, though. Shotty told us, he goes, I'm not into switching up the, I didn't mean to do that kind of voice.
Yeah.
Shotty told us that he was not into
switching guys
around like that. I mean, and as far as playing him during the game, so to me, I think but I would sure look at Nate Thomas at that spot.
When Shotty rolls out his jumbo stuff,
yeah,
let's just say Nate ends up being the jumbo motion guy.
Yeah,
we'll learn if Nate can play one up.
Yeah, I agree.
Can play right side.
Yeah.
Bryan, did anything from the edge group? Did you want to change anything there? You know, you wanted to play some guys more, play some guys less, change the rollout at all. What about your edges, Bryan?
I kind of feel like, Voch, that to me, that Houston had a real feel in that game the other day, and I believe he got less than I think 6 snaps or something like that.
I got some film tomorrow about how fantastic he
was. To me, he is. I would consider playing him more. I'll say this though too, Donovan Ezeraku, I'm still playing. I'm still throwing him out there as many times as I can. I think you watch after the weather delay, his rushes got better. He figured out that, like, listen, you can't attack guys down the middle. You can't spin to the middle. These guys will kill you with that. He's got to play on the edges better. And I think there were a couple of times there where he was able to get some rushes later in the game that seemed to kind of work out better. So I'm kind of on board with, like, keep playing him. But I think that Houston needs to be him and Fowler and, like, listen, more Nealon. Whatever you can do. Nealon is a guy, Voch, to me, that plays the run well, and he is learning how to rush the passer left or right side. It doesn't matter for him. So more of Houston, more of Nealon is what I would think.
Running down the middle of Lane Johnson ain't the greatest idea in the world, but Nealon showed enough power to do it.
Yeah.
And Lane's a guy that deals with power really well. So when I saw Nealon do it, one time he got a sack from it. Just another time it was just a regular, Jalen Hurts pressure or whatever. But Nealon, once he starts figuring out how to set moves up and how to set different rushes up and playing off his other guys or whatever,
right.
I think Nealon's gonna be fantastic. I would actually roll Nealon out first. Bryan.
Over Houston and stuff like that. I mean, I'm just saying
over Fowler.
I don't disagree with you there.
So look, this is what we're gonna do, because I got some film that we're gonna break down tomorrow. One thing that I did notice about Houston, Bryan, is that, and Lions fans will tell you he's a really good pass rusher, but he's not good versus the run. I thought Houston has some really sound run game technique that was a little better than some of the
better.
Don't be smiling, Bryan. Because look, the Eagles were running counters a lot, right?
Sure.
They were running counters.
Sure.
And I saw Fowler running upfield a bunch. I was like, come on, Fowler, you're making a lot of space right there. To where Houston would crash and hit the pull and kick guy. Right? And create the pile, and then all the rest of the guys kind of get in where they fit in, Bryan. I don't want to say that Houston's a guy that's going to come in and just take somebody's job, because that ain't how roster depth chart politics work, I would say. But he's one of your better pass rushers. And if he can show you that he can, constantly be good in the run game, Bryan, I think he should get more reps. But in general, big picture, I think Marshawn should be out there first. Because last time it was Sam and it was Dante Fowler out there first.
Right.
I know Fowler got the big money.
Right.
Let Sam and Nealon be the first physical, bigger bodies. Let them go out there, bang around the run game, and then in these pass rush downs, that's when you roll out Donovan Ezeraku. That's when you roll out some of these other guys, Dante Fowler. But as far as edge goes, give 10, not even 10, give 5 of Dante's reps and 5 of Donovan's reps, and make 10 more James Houston reps. And I think I
totally like what you've done with talking about putting Nealon as the starter. And I kind of feel like, though, that going forward, if you want to say the rotation is, in fact, maybe less of Fowler. I think, just knee-jerk week 1, that's where I think you're onto something there.
And Fowler got going. It just took him a long time to get going.
It did.
Man, Bryan Broaddus, I'm just looking around, man. I don't know if it's because Winfrey back hurting that he wasn't around, Bryan.
Yeah.
Or maybe they were saying that their active list is based on who are we playing that week.
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Schottenheimer, and all these other guys. Is the Giants game a reason why you would change something with your tackle group, with your D tackle group? You're gonna roll with that original 4? Did Jay Toia play well enough? I'm sure Kenny Clark lived up to your expectation, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah.
Did you want to get Mozzie going and get him some rest because
No.
he plays so well? He plays so well against John Michael Smith's Bryan Broaddus. Are you going to get him going? What about Perrion Winfrey?
Yeah,
This
is where I have the least amount of want for change.
Sure.
I feel like, though, I'd love to see Winfrey because I'd love to see Winfrey and Clark play like one after the other. Because I think they're both upfield players. I think they're both penetrating players. I think they're both strong players. I like what I saw with Osa and then Solomon Thomas over there. But this is the one group I don't know if I want to mess with. JT, though, big body guy, seemed like he was a half man, half gap away from making some plays. But, hard guy to move. But give me the penetrator. Give me the guy. I'd like to see Winfrey in there instead of JT. Maybe give him. I'm really not interested in seeing Mozzie right now. I think Mozzie, to me, has become a, break glass in case of emergency if something happens. And even then, I'm probably not totally sold on what I need to do.
You want to know the biggest impact I think Clark had is Solomon didn't have to play a whole bunch of A-gap.
No, absolutely.
Solomon maybe played like 1 or 2 snaps in A-gap. Besides that, it was some B-gap, and I even see him play the edge a little bit.
Right.
It was one time in the goal line. He was lined up wide, and he had to whoop a tight end. And you know how I say, if you're going to get doubled in the middle when your one-on-one's outside, I'll take Solomon Thomas over a tight end every single time, Brian.
Yeah.
And when I was watching Solomon out there, now he can be strong and quick on the outside. So I was really a big fan of that. I do want to see Perrion get moved. And you can use Solomon playing edge as a reason why you would need one extra guy on the inside, though. But just like you said, I don't need to see any more from Mozzie. And as far as those top 3 guys, Solomon, Osa, and Clark, leave them the way they are.
Yeah.
If you want to mess around with that 4th guy, then sure, by all means, knock yourself out. But if nothing changes, I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, that's the one group when you start asking me, I felt like that, that I wouldn't make many changes because I felt like overall. But I'll tell you what, run game disruption comes from penetration.
Sure.
And that's the one thing that we've seen from Winfrey and then Osa and Solomon Thomas and Clark.
Yeah.
Those guys that are able to get up the field and attack gaps, and now all of a sudden people are trying to pull and it's all thrown off, or they're trying to block you one-on-one and it's thrown off. Give me the guys that they're able to do that. Hard one to move, though. That was a hard one. I didn't want to make many changes on that one.
Let me just throw my pants. Man, Brian, Maris Leofow played 6 snaps on defense.
Yeah, there you go.
Man, boy.
Yeah.
Kenny Murray had a kid, you know what I mean? He didn't get a whole bunch of camp reps, didn't get a bunch of preseason reps at all. He didn't play in the preseason games at all. Sanborn didn't play in the preseason games at all, Bryan Broaddus. I'm like, man, Damone Clark played a bunch of – he was in the 30s, I believe.
Yeah. With
his camp. But that's still Damone Clark at the end of the day, Brian. And, we got names like Shamar James and Buddy Johnson can, contribute, I guess. But, Brian, what in tarnation would you do differently with this linebacker group? You want to see it one more week? Maybe Kenny Clark one more week will be fine, Brian. Maybe this linebacker group will be better if the quarterback is not Jalen Hurts and he runs all over the place, Brian. What would you change anything about this linebacker group, or you want to wait one more week?
No, I change. Okay. I change. I think that you're in that point now where, and it's 1 week. I felt like this was the weakest of any position group on the defense.
Sure.
And that you're going into the season thinking that maybe the defensive tackles were going to be, or the edges we thought were going to be a little bit of a strength. But this linebacker core as a whole did not play as well as it needed. And it might need something like a Maris Leofow. Voch, I even reached out and asked about playing spy. And didn't hear anything back.
Of course you ain't hear a damn thing back because they're ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, that to me was very much I reached out, I'm like, hey, philosophy on spying, philosophy on, and nothing back on that. So to me, but I think that if you're going to be, and there were a lot of the stuff with the quarterback runs, it's about contain. It's a lot of what's going on with the edges and stuff, but overall, you need a guy like a Maris Leofow. Clark, I think there's some good things with Clark. I think there's some things also that you kind of a little bit of some liabilities as well with him. Maris Leofau, Sanborn. We'll see with Murray's situation how that all plays out. If you get to a point too, I'm even thinking about James a little bit, just because of his ability to run and to finish. We saw that in the preseason games, and I like that. But are you going to put a rookie guy out there? But if you get the kind of play that you got from that crew, especially before the weather delay, you're going to have to think about making some changes there.
I think it's necessary.
Yeah,
I think it's necessary. Kenneth Clark looked like he was. I'm not Kenneth. I'm sorry.
Damone Clark.
No, not even Damone Clark. Murray. Kenneth Murray.
Murray.
There's a lot of Kennys. There's a lot of Clarks on this team. Pardon me. Kenneth Murray.
Yeah.
He looked lost out there sometimes, Bryan Broaddus. Now, like I said, the second half got much better. The Eagles decided to just throw the ball a little less. They ran the ball, and it was just all basically cookie cutter in front of them. Murray played a little better there, coming up, filling gaps sometimes. All right, cool. But I would argue that some of the first half whoopings was like his fault.
Yeah.
Him just being like lost and just getting himself blocked sometimes.
Right.
Sanborn wasn't much better.
Yeah.
But I would think that Leofau would just give him a shot and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
Bryan Broaddus, this is my last one. We ain't doing nothing else today, Brian. We just up here podding at the headquarters here. Running back.
Wow.
Running back.
Yeah.
Now, let me just talk through running back as a Cowboys. Javonte Williams was your main guy.
He was.
Miles Sanders had 11 plays but 4 carries.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Hunter Lipke wasn't all that involved in offense very much at all.
No.
Blocking at the most.
Blocking at the most.
Jalen Blue was active, and due to your golden phone, that was a team's decision.
Special teams. Right.
I don't even like how that sounds. But
no.
But whatever. Brian, would you want to run that same configuration one more time just to see what it looks like versus the Giants, or would you do something different? And add this to it. Number of carries. Would you change that at all?
Yeah, the thing about it would be, I think, Voch, this is where I would go. I probably would keep it the way it is for one more week. Just to see. And, I'd love to see. The thing you have to tell me, and this is the thing that I don't know right now. This is what I don't know right now. We hear that it was a special teams, that they wanted to get Flournoy on the field and they needed him, even though Blue has made a couple of tackles. Is he the best special teams player? Probably not as good as Flournoy. Coach and staff were telling us, hey, nobody had a better preseason than Ryan Flournoy playing as a special teams player. This is the thing we need to ask now. Was Blue's situation because of not knowing what to do? Is it and again, I'm not saying, hey, I'm just trying to kind of figure it out.
Yeah.
Why, if you're a person,
that's a weird reason to leave he's your bursty guy. He is your
bursty guy. But the thing about it is, do the coaches trust him in a week 1 game in Philadelphia? There's got to be more to it than just special teams.
Picking up blitzes or something.
Yeah, it is. And the Eagles don't blitz all that much.
Yeah.
But did you worry going into this game that maybe that he didn't have? And this is me thinking out loud. I am not trying to say this kid's a dumb kid or anything like that. I mean, football dumb. I'm not saying. I'm just saying when they met on Friday, when Schottenheimer and the staff met with the front office and they said, who are the inactives this week? And Blue's name was brought up. I wonder if somebody in the front office goes, wait a minute, we're not gonna dress him, and the coaches say, well, we're not gonna dress him because. And I think it's more to it than special teams. It's got to be more than that. And this is speculation on my part, but maybe it's a situation where they didn't totally feel comfortable about him playing in this particular game.
Let me ask you this, Brian. Blue was hurt for a large portion of camp. Then he played in the 3rd game and kind of got hurt again.
Right.
Do you think the Cowboys wanted to see him practice a little more?
I think there's something to that.
Possibly.
I think there's something to that.
I don't need to see him practice at all. I'm ready to get out of here with
Sam. Oh no, I understand. And
just me talking.
Yeah, and the question that, and listen, if Sanders doesn't have the fumble, do you think differently about him?
100%. 100%. If he didn't get caught from behind by Zach Bond and if he didn't fumble the football right at the goal line,
Yeah.
we'd be looking at Miles.
So it's the 2 plays, and rightfully so. That's not something that, to me, that's not something you just sweep under the rug.
Sure.
That is something that you say legitimately he got caught, and you just wonder if overall how that played out in their minds.
Now, Brian, Williams got 15 carries.
Yeah.
Would you want to give him a little bit more? Would you want to, do you trust him enough to say, hey, I would rather look at him more of a bell cow type. He runs physically,
Yeah.
catches the ball. He's great on third downs, but he proved to us that he's good on first and second as well.
Yeah.
Brian, so would you give Williams more workload? Would you give Lipke some more? Where do you give and take from that?
I'm giving him more. I'm actually going to give him more. Maybe some of the carries that you're talking about that you're going to give to, say, Sanders or even Blue at that case, until you kind of get Blue going in these things. I'm going to sit here in front of you and admit that I was wrong about Williams and what he could bring. I thought, well, and Sean Payton tried to convince me of this. Sean Payton told me, he's like, Brian, he's a year removed, 2 years removed now from the knee. Give him a shot. Give him a shot there. Give him a chance. Give him, And I'm like, Sean, but you got rid of him. And he goes, well, I got an opportunity to, I made some changes. Yeah. But this guy's a better player. When healthy, he's a really good player. And I didn't want to believe that. I really didn't want to believe that. I thought, he's just going to be your third down back. Yeah. But the more you hand him the ball, the team seems to have where there plays that in the past that were hit at the line that were either for 0 or negative plays were 2 and 3 yard gains. We're 4-yard gains.
Sure.
More opportunities to try and make that happen.
Dak ended up throwing the ball a bunch. I would love it if Schottenheimer, situationally, found more chances to just run the ball some more.
Yeah.
Just give it to him and just see. Because, the Cowboys offensive line I have a great deal of confidence in.
Right.
Whether we're up and down on the right tackle or not, I still feel like left tackle to right guard, you were able to move some bodies around.
Right.
Now, the Giants coming up, they got good pass rushers,
right,
but those guys are lighter. Brian Burns is a light dude.
Yeah, their tackles, though, were the problems, right?
Right. Lawrence and what's his face with the 3 names. But I still feel like what you just dealt with, if you could deal with those guys, you can deal with anybody else.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
So if it's me, Brian, I'm trying to give – so Williams had 15 carries last time, 18.
Yeah, there's something that Schottenheimer – and we might hear him talk about this more and more, and I don't think we focus on it nearly enough, is that there's a number that they try and get when it comes to the addition of passes to runs.
35. Catches and completions, 35 of them.
Okay, but I thought there was something to do with the balance of running the ball with the number of attempts that you throw.
Yeah.
And there's a certain there's like this magical number that I need to do some research on this one.
Sure.
But he seems like very much he's like, "Oh, I believe in analytics." And this seems like a very analytics thing. If I get to a certain number of, like I say, completions, and to your point, completions and then number of attempted runs, then maybe there's this magical number that they feel really, really good about. But handing the ball to Williams, I don't think is a bad thing at all.
Yeah, we will see some benefit there. And if it's up to me, I'm running Jadon Blue out there every time Williams needs a break. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all so much for tapping in with us. We have a good week of content coming for you. We got 4 more pods for the week and 2 film sessions. So y'all be sure to hit the sub and like everything and go down in the comments. And if there's anything about these groups that you would change, let us know, and we'll be down there, chopping it up with you. All right? Be sure to like Crown Global Media on all of his social pages. That's Bryn Broaddus. I'm VOCHLONBARDI. We'll catch y'all tomorrow. All right? Crown.